And now we have another, dynamic, illustrious leader as the finance minister who is bringing about a lot of reforms. The moment he assumed office, he abolished FBT. And many other things are happening because the grassroots level sentiments are being captured and accordingly the laws are sought to be molded. So therefore, in the GST scenario, I am sure that not only chartered accountants will be patriotic, even lawyers will be made more patriotic to contribute the service tax to the exchequer, and that way the discrimination or equilibrium will be brought. In fact, friends, the second reason as to why the revenue of the governments will go up because of GST is, in the mechanism of GST operation and implementation, evasion will be very difficult. So therefore, the revenue flow will automatically become very buoyant and the revenue will escalate. The third and the last reason is, today India is 1.3 trillion economy. And in this GDP, as we comprehend, you look at the manufacturing sector's contribution to the GDP, it is only 26%. You look at the service sector contribution to the GDP, it is 55%. Now, what is the contribution in terms of the indirect taxes composition? If you see, while the manufacturing sector, which is only 26% of the GDP, is contributing to 46% out of the total revenue earned on indirect taxes front, whereas the service sector, which is 55% of the GDP, is contributing to only 10% of the total collection in the indirect taxes front. So therefore, with GST introduction, this 1.3 trillion, which is expected to double by 2020, what India accomplished after independence in the last 6 decades will be accomplished in this decade, the coming decade in which we are taking the plunge by 2020, and because of that also, the collections will go up. So therefore, considering all these three aspects, I strongly believe that the government has to revisit on this escalation in the rates of tax and revert back to that original recommendation, which will keep the effective rate to 12% and not take it to 20% and then bring it to 16%, so on and so forth. So, and the state and center have to harmonize in such a way. So in the process of their bargaining or negotiating, they should not lose sight of the ultimate consumer, ultimate business enterprise which is going to contribute to the exchequer. I only get reminded of when I think that this dual GST, center living something and taking, state living something and taking, I'm only reminded of a person who had 2 wives. One wife matching his age, another wife, very young wife. So the one who matched his age was so jealous of the dark hair on his head. The young one was not so comfortable with the gray hair on his head. So slowly they started plucking the respective hairs which are causing them discomfort, and you know the consequence. It should not happen to the business enterprises in terms of the state and center trying to levy maximum and in the process killing the golden, goose that lays the golden egg. And if you look at the global scenario, Australia has only 10% as the GST rate, New Zealand has 12.5%, and UK has 15%. And in any case, as I said, maybe there are stagnated economies who can afford to charge high, but this is a developing economy. Like criminal law is aimed at preventing crimes. GST should not aim at restricting the manufacture or restricting the flow of services. It should facilitate manufacture, it should facilitate the growth in all the sectors. And in the process, the revenue should also go up. So that goal or objective should be borne in mind. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, let me migrate to the third component of the challenge, that is Direct Taxes Code. 1922 Act existed for 39 years. 1961 Act is completing 50th year and will get replaced by Direct Taxes Code on 1/4/2012. So financial year 2012-13 will be the first year of implementation of direct taxes code. And if you look at this, the objective is very clear, simple, single code. You have the income tax, wealth tax, gift tax. Gift tax is in the form of section 56